What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to tell you a little story on how me and the guys landed this really cool documentary. It's a little bit quirky, it's a little bit weird, but I'm going to go through everything that happened, tell you about the equipment, the lighting setups we used for interviews, and everything else in between. So the documentary that we landed is basically following an autistic boy called Daniel, who is into Bigfoot. And he grew up watching all of the Bigfoot programs, especially in America. There's these three sort of famous Bigfoot presenters. There was Ronnie, Renee, and Ryan. They flew over, and what it was really about was sort of teaching Daniel what they would do to find Bigfoot, find Sasquatches. The reason this whole documentary came about was because Daniel was out in the woods with his nan. He found a footprint. He took DNA of the footprint and sent it to like the eDNA people in like, I think it was the Netherlands or something like that. They basically came back and said there was traces of old world monkey. We were basically just doing a documentary following his journey with autism, how he finds being out in the woods like a sort of safe place to be, and then to have these famous people from the Bigfoot world come over who he's watched and followed for a very long time. It's just a very nice sort of environment to be in. So I was recently filming for a client in the woods. We noticed that there was a group of people and I could hear them talking about like production and flying people in. They could see me with my FX6 in my hand, and they basically come up to me and they said, "Are you a DOP?" I said yes. They're like, "Are you local?" I said yes. And long story short, they offered me the job and I brought on Dan and Sam. Sam was second camera, Dan was BTS and third camera. So we had the A cam was the FX6, and I used the DZOFILM Catta Zooms. I mainly used the 38 to 80. Absolutely phenomenal lens. Picture out of it is great. I also then used the Sony Zeiss 35mm 1.4. That is my favorite lens. That's my go-to for like majority of things. I needed a bit more of the autofocus for some of the walk-in stuff. The Catta Zooms I did use on the first day because I wanted to use them, but then I realized the manual focus wasn't what I sort of needed. So then ended up coming back to the Sony for the autofocus. For the B cam, we used an FX3, and we had the Sigma 35mm 1.4, and then we had the Samyang 35 T1.5. Then we started using the Rode Wireless Pros, hooked everybody up with some microphones because the FX6 can do like 6 audio channels. But then it just started getting a bit messy, so I stripped things back, and I just kept the Rode NTG4 Plus as a directional microphone on the camera, and we just used that, and that just worked perfectly.
Perfect. Sitting on the toilet. Sitting on the toilet. I really want to like cut your nose hair right here.
Oh, I know, it's annoying, isn't it? Yeah. It's the same one every time. Like, I pull it out, and about 3 weeks later it goes, hello. Hello.
On the first day, we got everything set up. We filmed Daniel sort of setting up his tent, and then we did some interviews with him and Renee and Ryan and Ronnie, and just did like introductions to who they are basically. So we used the sun as the hair light. I had a 500B, and we set up like a sort of silk muslin type of thing, but it was so windy and we had to try and tape it down, and we had to like put fans on top of it to try and keep it still, and then it got covered in mud and everything. But we basically shone the 500B through this silk muslin to act as like the softbox, so we had some nice soft light on his face. We filmed them meeting, and then we just followed Daniel in the woods with them basically. Day 2, we then had to do a night shoot. I think it was like 8 p.m. till 5 a.m. or something like that. That was hilarious. Everybody was so tired because the sleeping pattern was just completely off. But the best thing through that night for me, obviously filming like the reactions of things and filming the actual documentary was fun. But for me, the most fun was the fact that I finally bought myself an Easyrig. Because it was nighttime and we needed some sort of light on their faces, I put a Nanlite PavoTube 6C to the end of the Easyrig to act as like a key light for when I'm filming them, and it worked perfectly. And I was so happy with it. I just loved like rigging stuff up to the Easyrig, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. So that worked a treat. So day 3, we then went back the same route as we did in the nighttime. It was raining that day. So again, my favorite thing, I had my Easyrig on and I attached my umbrella attachment to it, my God, did it come in handy on that day. So it's raining, I have the umbrella on, and I am completely fine. It was just really cool to sort of have like my FX6 on it and know that I was going to be protected with this umbrella. It's very big, it's very wide. It also covers the backpack part of the Easyrig as well, so that was absolutely brilliant. And on the 4th day, we just had 10 interviews or so. We interviewed like Daniel's family, we interviewed Daniel, the 3 R's, his granddad. We just dove deep into people's feelings and Daniel's family and their struggles with Daniel with his autism. That sort of summed up the documentary. And I think when it comes out, it's not going to be so much about Bigfoot. I think it's literally more about Daniel and dealing with his autism. So that is it for this YouTube video. I just wanted to go through what I've been doing recently with that documentary. I have other things on the go as well, and just wanted to go through all of the setup and some of the gear that we used. I think that is about it. So I'm going to try and do some more YouTube videos for you. I say this every time and then I never do, and then I do. So you'll get one whenever it happens. So anyway, I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.
Hang on. So,
Exploring.